Well, hello, my friends. It's just about the new moon on February 11th. Actually, we're filming the day before so that Brian has time to get this up on YouTube. I have to say I'm really excited. I feel so heavy from November till the middle of February, and right now we've just passed Imbolc. Imbolc is the midwinter point, so somewhere between February 2nd and February 4th. The word Imbolc comes from an old Druidic Celtic word, imbolg, which means stirrings in a pregnant belly, because it's time when the lambs come, and the lambs are some of the earliest to birth in the spring. It's about the concept that, yeah, most of us are trying to get this winter over with, but the stirrings in the belly, this new beginning, the stirrings in our sacral, in our womb, if you will, our spirit womb, is about recognizing that we still have to go for the long haul yet. It's like Spirit is letting us know that there's life in that belly, because if you've ever been pregnant, you females out there, you know what it feels like to have that baby kick or stir in the womb. But you know you still have to get through 39 or 40 weeks of pregnancy yet. So we feel life early on, so we still have some time to go. But since I was a very small child, and what teachings my father could give me in his painful woundedness, I was made aware that if I could put my feet on the earth, any time from Imbolc on, you feel the energy beginning to stir from the roots of the trees, and it starts to come up through the ground. And you know that it's going to blossom forth, and before too long that the trees will have the energy and the seedlings will have that energy, and it's as much the energy coming out of the earth that causes the snow to melt. It's not just the surface temperatures, and we forget that. It's like thinking about lightning. We think that lightning only comes from the sky down, but in fact lightning shoots from the earth toward the sky, if you've ever watched slow motion pictures of lightning. So usually for me, I'm a March baby, I'm a Pisces. And so for me, the markers, I start to get excited at Imbolc, and then the first new moon around my birthday, which new moon is tomorrow, my birthday's in early March, I find that there's usually a new moon around Valentine's anyway, and so people are getting excited, and there's a positivity in the air between people. This year we know that the COVID vaccines are starting to roll out, and here in Ontario at least the numbers are coming down of infections, and we know that the intention is that by the summer everybody that wants to be inoculated will be inoculated. So we can see that there's an end coming, but I'm more excited about just how it feels to be present right now. So this new moon tomorrow on the 11th of February is such an exciting time, because with this new moon, this turning inward, and yes, we are in a Mercury retrograde, but if you think about what retrograde means, it's about stopping in our tracks and really reevaluating. It's not about blowing up our computers and making us drop our phones and break them. This is all about, we get caught up in what's the wrong stuff, or the Murphy's Law stuff about Mercury retrogrades, but it's really, because we had a big moon void of course yesterday, it's a time to evaluate. And I was so excited. We're filming this in the afternoon, And yet I pulled the cards this morning. I just really wanted to get on with this. So let me talk about the grandmother first before I get into the cards, because the cards are very telling. Very telling. And originally I just thought, oh, I only need to pull 8 cards. I know what this is all about. And by the time I actually got done and was nudged by Spirit, I had 24 cards. So you'll see those cards posted on Facebook and possibly Instagram. But anyway, let's talk about our position here. So Imbolc is typically, as I mentioned in the last video, dead center of top of the wheel, midwinter. So we're past that. And in a perfect year, the third moon cycle would start on the 13th of February, and it's really close. We're getting almost lined up. So it's actually starting on the 11th of February. And the grandmother of this moon cycle, and it's the last full moon cycle before spring equinox. Anyway, this grandmother whose time we're coming into, we're leaving Wisdom Keeper and moving into Ways the Truth. And Ways the Truth is about different ways of looking at the truth. Let me get my descriptions of her so that I can give you more information. So, Ways the Truth is the keeper of equality and the guardian of justice, the fair judge of divine law, and the destroyer of deception. Hold that thought when I get to the cards. She is the mother of truth and protectress of the underdog, the mother of self-determination and responsibility. She teaches us how to find the ability to respond and how to be self-determined. How to find the positive, not the negative, by using divine law. How to use equality with justice, being accountable for our actions and our words. She teaches us how to use personal integrity, ethics, and values to find a healing solution for ourselves and for others. She teaches us how to accept the truth. In the past few months, when we've been looking at racial injustice and inequality and class injustice and all of the trauma, particularly for us in Canada, focused on the United States, this is a very important grandmother who's going to help us sweep up the mess of all of that. And if we're focused and moving from a place of personal integrity, we can help to clean that up very quickly with our thoughts, our actions, taking it out of self and placing what we would want for self out into the world. So that makes me giddy. Let me describe for you the cycle in particular. So normally, in a perfect year, this would start on the 13th of February and run till the 12th of March. It will run a little bit differently this year. But think about it. It's the moon cycle called Maple Sugar Comes. And why does maple sugar come? Because the energy of the earth is waking up the trees. They're thawing out and the sap is running. The totems for this period of time are otter and frog. Both of them begin to wake up and be able to, well, otters are always awake, but able to move as the waters thaw in the rivers and streams and lakes, and they're beginning to move equally between the habitats that they are in. Great white buffalo is still the overarching spirit keeper. The colors are indigo and silver if you were to be making a medicine blanket or a ribbon shirt, ribbon dress. The chakra involved is the transpersonal chakra, which in our tradition there are 13 chakras. The transpersonal can have 1, 2, or 3 aspects open. Sacred tobacco is our medicine herb. The auric field that we are responsible for is the spiritual aura. The element is water. And the crystal color rays are red. The numerological value associated with this moon cycle is 44, and the planet is Sirius B. And all the crystals that help us during this month are the clear and white crystals. Quartz, apophyllite, opal, aquamarine, because it's a very pale stone, diamond, prehnite, stones of that nature are appropriate for this moon cycle and for this week. And there are some additional stones associated with the cards that were picked. So let me get into this juicy reading. I've got my reference books here, and there's a lot of cards to deal with. And I doused about whether I start in the east or start in the north, but today I got the north. So the first card I got was the Two of Wands, and that was in the protection position. And this is about making decisions to move forward. When it's in protection, it is about not choosing to see or giving ourselves enough space to see what choices we have to move forward. Wands are the fire element. Wands are the fire in the belly, that stirring of life that I referred to in the beginning of this video. So I pulled a card to go with it, and the card I got actually was a ritual about fish. Because as the rivers start to thaw in this month, and as the water begins to flow again, fish start to wake up and start to do their thing. But fish also represents money. It represents flow, going with the flow, and staying in the waters. Waters are also referencing emotion and moon. So dealing with the emotions that perhaps stop you from making a decision how to move forward. So that's the first card to represent. The second card is an interesting set. It's the High Priestess in reverse. And the High Priestess is all about manifesting, but in the protection position, it's about the self. And I reference a very important book to me on Jungian psychology and archetypes by Gail Fairfield. Gail Fairfield is an author from the 80s, and Gail puts the protection position or reverse position cards as referencing the self rather than the outer world. It's not good and bad, it's external or extrinsic versus intrinsic. So this is about not creating your magic for others. This is about focusing on the self. And how do we do that? With a ritual of the moon. Well, of course it is. As I say just about every video, you can't make this stuff up. This is a new moon, so this is a dark moon. This is looking at self. It's not illuminating the external. It's only illuminating the internal or the shadow. When I go to the south position of the wheel, I get Spirit of Pentacles, which is Buffalo, in protection. This is the same as in a regular tarot deck of the King of Pentacles. And the ritual associated with this is coffin, or the symbolic representation of the ritual is coffin. So, before you freak out, coffin isn't about physical death. It's about letting something end that needs to end. But it's also in the south of the wheel. So it's telling us that these conditions that have stopped us from moving forward in our lives, this pandemic, are definitely ending by the summer. But as it relates to us and ourselves, again, this is a Pentacles card. So this is about recognizing that it's going to change forever. We're not going back to what was. It's changing forever how we move in this world. Pentacles are about money and living in this third dimension. That changes. But you have authority in this king position, and you still have the protection of the great white buffalo. So this is just exactly perfect. And finally, in the west position, we get the magician in protection position. So this is about the magic that you do is not to be performed for the world, for others to see. This is about on the self. And what kind of ritual involves pillars? It's strength, it's foundation and structure. It's what holds you up, provides support for you. So I would strongly suggest, if you haven't cut the ties that bind you to old ways of thinking, if you haven't shoveled out the muck of what happened to you in the 1970s or 80s or before that, it's time to let go of the things that you cycle through. When we cycle through old thoughts and feelings and fears, the more we think about them, the more we make them real in this life and we anchor them in the body, the more it is we're likely to see the very thing we fear begin to happen. So this is getting rid of that which stops you from manifesting the perfection that weighs the truth. So you have to be, they're asking you to be really, really, really clear, not punitive. You're not being punitive with yourself. You're being clear about what needs to go. So they wanted me to pull these cards. So we are an unfinished symphony. We have things that we still need to work on, things that we still need to finish, but what will hinder us is the round and round in protection, meaning not letting go or not recognizing the things that will stop us from finishing our symphony. So this is this old stuff I just referred to in the west position of the wheel. If we can't do that, we won't bring the new life. So new life was in protection. We have to really finally, pardon this expression, shit or get off the pot. We have to let go, because when we can, what do we get? Regeneration or new life. This is just profound beyond. So I asked for cards that relate to the solar astrology, and I got Pisces. Well, Pisces starts on the 19th of February, just before the full moon. So it is in this time. Pisces is very much about the moon. I'm a Pisces sun and Pisces moon with Libra ascending. So Libra is about balance and beauty and keeping everybody in peace. What's going to manifest this change is a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse. So both these cards are about, if you think about the Tower card in tarot, they're about abrupt, immediate change. This is also similar to the Hanged Man, this card in tarot. So it's we're going to see changes in abrupt increments. And we have to be ready for that, because those are the changes that make all of this happen. So, I have so many cards to talk about. So the very first cards I asked were for the ancestors to speak to us, and I always use the Judith Pintar deck for that. So the first card I got was Earth and Vision, and it's Eagle in this position. The spirit of Eagle, and actually the Thunderbirds are here. So there's the clouds, the Wakinians making change. That's abrupt change. If you think of the Tower card in Tarot, if you know the Tarot, you'll know that it's lightning hitting a building. This is about an abrupt change in the earth with the spring. It's also those electrical currents that I was speaking about as I started this video. What's coming from that in the east is the Gaia, the spring, Turtle Mother wakening up. This card has all the little fishes, the snakes, the animals, the trees are starting to bud, and the humans are coming out of the tree. In other words, it's a shamanic vision of Jaya. The third card is, again, a Jaya card, the Earth card. This is Turtle Mother, a birthing baby. This is this baby in the womb, and she's reaching toward the moon. All these are birthing, rebirthing. And the final one is an acorn. And the acorn in and of itself is full of everything. This one is full of fire. It's the energy that creates life. The acorn in and of itself is no less important than the tree it comes from, because in fact without that acorn the tree doesn't even begin to grow. So it's the seed thought. The seed literally, but the seed thought. So all these references right from the beginning card, the Two of Wands and making a choice, that's about fire in the belly, and that's about beginnings. This is saying, use this new moon to really evaluate for once and for all what you gotta let go as we move. This energy is coming up from the earth, whether we're ready for it or not. The pandemic is coming to a close. As much as we gripe about it staying so long, it's coming to a close, and we have to be ready for the new paradigms of what we want. So I think that I'm so excited about this, and I will, as always, post the cards, photos of the cards on Facebook and Instagram, and Brian will send out a release. But really, really, really think about what it is that helps you weigh the truth. No point griping about what was and what has been. That no longer exists. We have now, and we are planting the seeds for the future. So stay well, my friends. Do your new moon rituals. If you need some help with rituals, by all means, email us and I will help you out. And be blessed. Miigwech. Yawen.